So the pre-sanctified liturgy we celebrate throughout Lent, on the Wednesdays of Lent, and in some traditions, and even in our tradition, it's celebrated on Wednesdays and on Fridays. On Fridays, it's in the morning, Wednesdays in the evening, and in the Slavic traditions, in the Russian tradition, for instance, on Friday, they do it on Friday evening instead of the Medea, instead of the salutations or akathist, hymn to the Theotokos. The pre-sanctified liturgy was written by St. Gregory the Great, the Pope of Rome, in the 6th century. And we celebrate it during Lent because it's a more solemn liturgy. So on the regular weekdays, Wednesdays and Fridays, we fast to commemorate Christ being taken into the hands, betrayed into the hands of the Jews and the Romans, and then put on trial. And on Friday, his taking down from the cross and being put in the tomb. And so the pre-sanctified liturgies on Wednesdays and Fridays is an opportunity for us to fast a little more even than we're already doing during the weekdays of Lent. So what happens during the pre-sanctified liturgy is the lamb, an extra lamb is taken and sanctified on Sunday during liturgy. That's the centerpiece of the loaf of bread that's used for communion, and on it says ICXCNIKA, Jesus Christ conquers all, Jesus Christos Nika. And then it also has different parts for the Theotokos, for John the Baptist, for the living and departed that we commemorate, for the saints. And we take an extra one, and on Sundays, the priest takes it, makes the sign of the cross with the spear, and puts a little bit of the wine, of the blood of Christ, into the lamb, and then saves it in a box on the altar. And then on the pre-sanctified liturgy, it's taken from the altar to the table of oblation, which is the preparation table on the left side of the altar. And it's prepared and taken on a small kind of entrance that we see, and we kneel during that time. And so we celebrate this liturgy because instead of a divine liturgy, because divine liturgies are more festive. On Sundays we celebrate every Sunday the resurrection. We commemorate that the resurrection of Christ. And so during this, the pre-sanctified liturgies, it's more solemn. We say the prayer of St. Ephraim, the Syrian, twice during that service, and then we kneel and do prostrations during that time. And then when the gift is brought out, we're also kneeling with our faces on the ground because Christ, the sanctified body and blood of Christ, the pre-sanctified gifts, that's already Christ present, is coming forward. And during this service we also say, the priest says, the light of Christ illumines all. So we remember the sacrifice of Christ, we remember that we need to be filled with Christ's light, and that is what feeds us ultimately. And we commemorate the sacrifices that we give for Christ, and the greatest sacrifice of all, that Christ was given for us on the cross, and that he rose again for us to give us salvation. And so these are really special liturgies that we have, and we should take advantage of going to them and participating in them and being penitential for our sins, but also remembering that Christ fills us with his grace and forgives us of our sins, and that Christ is always in our midst, and he is and ever shall be.